Hi, sweeties. How are you doing? Welcome to Naya Sim, and thank you all so much for all the love and support. Hope you all are doing great. So today we'll be talking something very important, and it's about a video. Oh, two palm-colored men actually. I mean, I don't know how they set their camera to come out to gaslight themselves. Not even black people. So he actually started. They started by saying that black people did not build their country. That it is true that you all worked in America, but you all did not build um, America. And he was like, "How great is it that you all built US, but Africa never invented anything and all that?" And it's amazing. Like it was like Africa did not even invent the wheel, not until 1900, and it just shows how dumb some of them could be and all that. I am always of the opinion that if you want to drag people, I hope you do your research very well, you come correct and all that. But then why? How am I even? How are they gonna come correct when all they know how to do is lie and all that? And they can't even go under the sun because it's kind of too hot and not so good for their health and mental health. And they are always ready to take a swipe at my own people, trying to denigrate and disrespect black people's effort. Let's get into this video.
You build your own country. You didn't fucking build our country. You didn't build shit. Some of you worked here, yeah, but you didn't build it. If that was the case, then you could build your own shit in your own country. Look at Africa. How great is that built? Tell me how great that's built over there. Wow. It's a economic powerhouse over there, isn't it?
No.
Greatest standard of living on the planet.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Didn't even invent the wheel until the 1900s.
The burn pit. I have a question before I start. But what does it feel like to live at the intersection of your ignorance, your small dick energy, and your racism? See, I asked your sister, but she said you've been lying to her all this time and telling her that 3 inches was 6. That was until I introduced her to a ruler. Now, let's get it. I know it's the whitewashed education system that has you believing that you had something to do with building this country besides enslaving people. But not only did you not build this country, you didn't connect the parts that minorities built. Because the Transcontinental Railroad was built by Chinese immigrants, and indigenous tribes paid the price for it. Or should we say, you stole the price from them. And that wealth you talk about as if your great-great-grandpappy did something more than sit around on his wraparound porch drinking mint juleps while also raping black women was built on the backs of those slaves. Because slavery was so profitable, it sprouted more millionaires per capita in the Mississippi River Valley than anywhere in the nation. And guess what you all did with that wealth? You brought more slaves. Question, have you taken up that we didn't build this country rhetoric with your Lord and Savior Donald Trump here? Because this is what he said out of his mouth. See, even he realized, as bigoted and racist as he is, that black labor is the foundation of this country's economic growth. Make no mistake about it, you troglodytic glowworms. Enslaved people built this country's early infrastructure while also giving this country financial standing in the world through lucrative crops like cotton and tobacco. Even after slavery, black people were critical to the industrial growth of this country, the agricultural growth in this country, and our black women were responsible for suckling your stupid asses when your own mammies couldn't do it. Now, understand, before I get into the greatness of Africa prior to the scourge of colonization that you represent, at no time in this world's history has Africa gone into Europe looking for anything. Unlike Western society and European countries are always scrambling to get into Africa. Understand that Africa had great and influential empires while your ancestors were still in the Caucasus Mountains eating raw meat because they hadn't figured out how to rub two sticks together and produce fire. The kingdoms of Kush, the land of Punt. You do know that Carthage was in Africa, right? The kingdom of Axum. The Lion King, Mali, perhaps? I really don't expect your whitewashed education system to teach you about either of these empires, especially Songhai, and especially not the great Zimbabwean empire. And notice, I didn't mention Egypt once. And I don't even understand your reference to the wheel, because Mesopotamia is not in Europe. And you notice that the ancient world civilizations that separately developed the wheel, such as China, the Indus Valley, and Egypt, are not in Europe either. Not only did you not build this country, you stole the land that this country is built on. And if it wasn't for the very people you stole the land from, you wouldn't have survived those first years that you were here. Now, run along and have the day that you deserve.
Why don't you build your own country? You didn't fucking build our country. You didn't build shit.
Go back and watch his video. He thinks he speaks truth to power. We did build our own country. This country. This land. This soil. Great old America. That your prisoner ancestors came and stole. We're not African. I don't understand why y'all keep saying that. We're not African. Not African. We did build our own country. This one. And for the life of me, I can't fathom, or I can't understand, I can't put in my mind the thoughts that go through you all's head. I think y'all just say stuff like that to try to provoke these types of conversation, but it's cool. Explain to me how people who can't even deal with the sun built something as extensive as the White House, the Capitol building, these monuments, this, that, and the third. Explain that. So was it all built in the wintertime in 50 below temperatures? Y'all can't even stand in the sun for 15 minutes. Otherwise, you're going to blister and burn. So explain to me, how the hell did y'all build any fucking thing? Literally, that's all I need to know. Stop discrediting my people. This is getting ridiculous. How many different languages do we have to learn in order to tell you we did build our own country? Turtle Island. We are the Aboriginal Niji of Turtle Island. Not finna go off. I'm not finna say all this crazy stuff. But I just need y'all to understand that y'all are not right. It's something wrong in the head with someone who thinks like you. It's something wrong with you. It's definitely something wrong. Your ancestors were prisoners. You didn't know much about, your royalty didn't know much about Turtle Island, so they just sent you all to the Americas because they didn't want the paupers, the prisoners, the poor, the this, the that. They didn't want you all. So they put you on ships to come over here, be processed in through Ellis Island, and work. What does that sound like to you? Men, women, and children, whole families. Y'all claim we came over here on ships. That's a goddamn lie. We always been here. Y'all the ones that came over here on ships. So, stop it with these silly narratives. Oh, you didn't build nothing. Look at Africa. Look at Africa. What the fuck they got to do with us? Go talk to the Africans about Africa. Talk to them about that. Talk to the Gambians and the Zambians and the South Africans and the Nigerians and the Ethiopians and the Eritreans. Talk to them, the Ghanaians, about Africa, because that's not we don't have much to do with the continent. I think all life started on the continent, but at the same time, just let's be mindful. Okay.
Country. You didn't fucking build our country. You didn't build shit.
Most of these dudes talking this shit, they always got a story like my grandparents came to this country from Italy or Ireland or Europe or whatever country they came from, Scotland, whatever country they came from, at a certain date, at a certain time. Where real Americans who was here when this country started with the Constitution, not when they stole it from whoever was here first. When they created the Constitution and made this America, cannot pinpoint when their grandparents landed on the shores of New York. No, we can't. So there are some white people whose families been here for a long time, and there are some black people who have been here since the Constitution. But most of these yahoos, they will tell you some story about how their grandparents landed on Coney Island with no nickels, no dimes, and they created a whole life for themselves.
The read is reading. I love it. Number one is that they are very quick to come out without any information or making their research to, like, pew some, racist rhetoric, But it is what it is. A lot of people, like, I think I posted this on scene, but I saw his own stitch. I was like, I am definitely bringing this here because he did a great job with the read. Number one is that these people, I don't know what they think or what they feel that black people are. And the fact that they have refused to acknowledge the impact of black people. But, like, trust me, what would they have done without black people? How would they have survived without black people? How would they have coped, built, or how would they have built all these things without black people? All these are the things I sit down most times and think, and I am like, you can imagine how selfish some people could be with everything, they did and still doing to this very moment, with all their labors and all, black people's labor and everything they worked for, because most of them, their sweat went in and out, during that time. And I remember Trump acknowledging that. I didn't even know if probably, sometimes I feel like that thing slipped out of his mouth the day he said it, but he has said it. He said it that African American built this country, So they knew, but it's just something that most of them have refused to acknowledge, because they wake up each time to ask themselves, like, how do we say that they were the one that built this country? How do we even agree that it was them that made everything possible? That the labor and all that, it was all them that, that did it, and that without even any, man, really, sometimes when I sit back and think of all this and how our ancestors were able to survive, I don't know how they survived it. But it's just a misery, and how the suffering and everything, trying to raise another generations too. Man, I don't want to dive deep into that. My mind is already going through so many things, I don't want to go into it, but yeah, they refuse to acknowledge that. But I think you all can sit back one day, trash all your podcasts, things, that camera you all mount without making your research, and your, what is that called? Your microphone. You all should trash all of that. because you all are not qualified to speak on some certain things, because you cannot speak on what you know nothing about. So not until you are ready to learn or acknowledge that African Americans built everything. See you on my next video. Bye for now.